Okay,
All right,
cool.
hit the
So
button.
NetSec's down. That ties it to security.
Is that where you get all your news from? I thought they banned all BHIS from those subreddits. Or was it just John?
They did. No, it was just John.
What?
No.
Yeah,
This is how fake news starts, Wade. You're part of the problem.
I'll take it. If that's your problem, then that's an easy problem.
John did get in trouble on Reddit, though.
Yeah, he posted a bunch of stuff, and then they just killed everything with fire because
he
started self-promoting. So I upvoted it. I did my part.
I upvoted
Not
it.
that this is a cult or anything.
Not a cult.
John's teaching, right? So he probably isn't joining, or is he done?
I don't know.
Someone yelled no, so.
Someone in the background of
I
someone
thought he was
else's-
traveling.
Yeah, it's probably my wife.
And
talking.
Yeah, you said
Bronwyn's
something about
frozen.
planes.
Who's echoing?
Garn.
Garn.
Garn is echoing.
I hear no echo. He's a liar.
Nice echo.
Echo.
So
Maybe he's talking
echo.
to.
I haven't told people I work with that I do stuff with like BHIS, right? And an email came out about like a webcast that's going on that I'm a part of, and like they're like, "Wait, this is you?" And I was like, "Oh no!" It was like Superman. Take there's the echo.
Now there's an echo.
Oh, that's Ian's echo.
Wow, this is a fun one.
Oh no.
I'm on TV.
I'm echoing.
TV.
You're looping audio back into
I was
us.
gonna say you're more than echoing. You're like loop back.
How about now?
Negative.
I
That
think
sounds
it's gone.
better.
I think it's
Wow.
better.
You came in here and ruined the whole thing.
Sorry.
Just like how Reddit ruined third-party apps.
Yes.
Well, we
Roll the
haven't
finger.
rolled the
Wait,
finger.
we haven't started yet.
We haven't even
Started yet, and I'm getting yelled at about
The
echo.
pre-show banter is getting
outta here.
shorter and shorter. I feel
I mean,
like.
we started.
you want-
This is
you want
live.
that?
There's 3 people watching, so it's live.
There's 3.
There's three
3
people,
plus
so we're
7
maxed out.
times 10. No,
There's
I
only
can't
one
do
story
math.
I want to talk about, and
I know which one that is.
Mm.
That's the one he made a fuss about.
That's about the zippers, isn't it?
Zippers, yeah.
The zippers.
Yeah, YKK. It's no joke,
Because
guys.
the bear costumes.
That's what I was
no
gonna
zippers.
say.
You can't zip this one shut. We got to talk about it.
Ian can't zip the lips.
yeah, like, what? Oh no.
The story
zip
has no
files.
teeth.
Ah.
Oh,
Everybody wants those zip files.
yes.
Ian, I
You
have
think,
an
you think they
amazing.
got fished with the .zip domain?
Oh,
I have an
Only
amazing
the best
client-
domain.
I have an amazing client response to the one that I think you want to talk about. It's
Mm.
pretty funny.
oh.
I'll
Yeah, you know
share.
exactly which one I want.
I'll share my private emails on the show because that's just the kind of show that this is.
Wow.
It's all friends.
I think they added didn't they add zip to Windows now? Or is it
Everyone,
7 zip?
everyone that's watching,
Yeah.
just say that you agree to the NDA in chat.
That's right. Yeah,
We'll
you
know
hold up your
Yeah,
hand.
hold up your hand and say I agree.
that- Just say
I solemnly
Uh-huh.
swear.
I
I'm
will
up to no good.
definitely not post classified documents.
I know I'm not supposed to do this, but I'm just gonna show you guys, okay?
Okay, here's some pre-show banter. Like the pictures of where Trump was keeping the classified documents, like it's not what I was imagining. It's like a dank basement with like bad lighting. I was
didn't see
thinking
this.
really fancy golden like gilded
Yeah.
walls
Yes.
and like a little shrine and like, you know.
I was in need of a new team's background.
Oh, that would be good.
I hope what you're actually talking about is the thing I even ended up sharing with my wife. They put on Twitter, they're like, "Oh my, I can't believe Disney changed the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark. Didn't tell anybody on Disney Plus." And I was like, "Oh, what's going on here?" And I play it, and they're boxing up the Ark of the Covenant, and it's getting in the put the top secret thing, and they start zooming out, and the Ark of the Covenant's just in the bathroom.
I honestly, when I saw that though, I was thinking of them So, like, if you ever worked on a like in classified areas, they have like these like ad campaigns for like loose lips, sink ships, and stuff like that, right? I can just imagine them having them just like a picture of the boxes, like "Don't be that guy" kind of thing, and just put it on the.
It's just not. It's just not what I was picturing from Trump. I pictured just a different kind of room for storing that kind of.
Yeah. You thought it was gonna be a lot nicer. I get it. Yeah.
There was a chandelier
Not
in
a
there.
burger room.
I was about to say
Toilet
it's still pretty nice compared to my bathroom.
That's not a
Was
chandelier.
toilet
That's a
bowl
bare
gold
light
plated.
bulb.
That's
That's
what I
a
want.
bare light bulb.
In Florida, that's not a chandelier. That's just a light bulb hanging from the sky. Is that what you guys
Honestly,
call that?
It honestly looked like he was like a tax accountant and just like had scrolled the papers around, like audit season was going on.
Anyway, this
the-
episode's sponsored by Banker's Box. Do you have classified documents you need to keep in the basement?
Somebody else on the interwebs pointed out for that photo from the basement that there's a picture of a copy machine in there.
Yeah.
Oh well, okay. Allegedly, that copy machine doesn't work. It's just there.
yes.
It's just
It's out of
there as
ink.
Allegedly.
Yes.
Allegedly.
It was photoshopped.
Imagine being the copy guy that goes in there. You're like, this doesn't seem like you open up the thing and it's like top secret nuclear documents. You're like, I can't work on this project anymore. I got sick. Oh man, I think I'm gonna throw up.
Yeah.
I gotta go.
Okay.
Roll the finger.
Roll that.
All right, yeah, we're ready. Ready for that finger.
Give everyone.
Oh, I thought we were going to the host.
Welcome to another episode of Black Hills Information Security, talking about the news. Today is June 12th, 2023. And we're going to talk about the news, obviously, but top articles we got, we're going to talk about the Reddit. The Reddits is down. We're going to talk about the world's most cybersecure companies. And we're going to talk about, I guess, Kias.
What?
And plus follow-up from previous episodes, of course. We got to
Yeah,
talk
boy.
about MOVEit. And we have a star-studded cast and crew. We have Ryan, who's telling me my video settings are bad, like he always does, because he's
Always.
so I'm fixing my video settings. We have Alex, Wade, Mike, Bronwyn, and of course Florida Man 2, Electric Boogaloo, Ian, and Ralph. Which one are
Actually,
they?
your video isn't bad. It just looks like
Now it's fuzzy now. Oh, now
Yeah,
it's
it
now
went
it's back.
bad. It went bad
Oh.
and then good.
It's
Oh,
good
you're
now.
You
good.
know what?
We're
I
good.
forgot to turn off VHS mode on my internet.
yeah. No, actually, you got to turn on the boost on your internet, man.
Okay, let me
Turn it up.
hold on. There's a
Turbo
turbo button here.
it's a
Let me just
turbo
press
button.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, the turbo button.
What
just
what it looked like for a minute was what like video producers in like the late 90s would make like downloading a video look like when they put a filter on it. Like when it was produced like cinematically and they're like, look, it's all digital and pixely, but it was real. So
What was the Windows video video client? The first one. It was,
Media player?
media player?
No, not media player. No, I mean it's like VTCs. So like doing like a video thing. I think.
Movie Maker?
Yeah.
No, it was you could do a live video, like a live video conference. It was like in the earlier Windows, like 98 or.
Skype?
What's up?
Skype?
is this
No,
like old
before
school
that.
Jeopardy? What is going on?
Man.
Yes. There's a video player that was like in Windows, right? That you can make a video phone call with. That's what your video looks like, Corey. So
Not even
whoever-
Discord knows the answer to that one.
Okay.
Oh, all
We
right.
asked ChatGPT and it says it's a large language model and it doesn't know.
And it
what-
doesn't know. It's a large language model, and it doesn't know how bad my Windows was in the early days.
So, okay, I think let's start off with I'm a meme fugitive. That's my name because I feel like there's nowhere to go now. Because
Communicator.
Yeah.
so Reddit's down, basically, because lots of subreddits are protesting the API changes. I don't know if you guys have been following this drama. Basically, the story is Reddit is getting, I think, under increasing pressure to become profitable from their many millions of investors, and they have basically
Are
announced
they publicly traded?
Yeah.
they are not. They're trying to IPO.
They're getting ready to.
IPO.
They're getting ready.
Yes, this is,
They're,
and if you've ever worked for a company that's trying to IPO, this is just standard drama.
Yeah.
But
Just
basically, they're announcing API pricing that rolls in July 1st that would put most third-party apps into the range of really expensive and possibly into the range of unaffordably expensive. So one common app, Apollo, which is specifically, I think, for the iPhone and is a pretty well-regarded app, they would be incurring an API fee of about $1.5 million a month. Yeah. So basically, they'd have to pass that cost on to their users, and it's just not like they're basically have said we're shutting down. So Apollo has said they're shutting down. Reddit is shutting down. Most of the big third-party Reddit apps are shutting down. And why are people protesting this? Because first of all, it's Reddit, and drama is just like peanut butter and jelly with Reddit is drama. So, but second of all, because the first-party Reddit app kind of sucks. A lot of people don't like it. It doesn't do what people want. And because of the way that it's been handled by the CEO, which is, from a public relations perspective, pretty bad.
Yeah. Really bad.
That AMA, did you read the AMA that he gave? Like that was some rough stuff.
And whether or not you agree with his, like, the community is mad, so he's not doing a very good job because that's his whole job is to keep the community happy, right?
So I think this is interesting because the API price increases. It kind of comes with like the same stuff with Twitter too. It's like it's just unaffordable, right? But the big reason I think, and this is kind of just like my personal opinion, that the community's gotten so upset is because people like me personally just want to use the community to just read different Reddits that have to do with like most of the stuff I have to do with like is very computer specific or whatever, right? I don't have to hear about politics or whatever if I don't want to be part of that Reddit. And in general, it's just been, hey, I just get to see these feeds of whatever, or just memes or, I don't know, dog pictures or whatever. They want to put a bunch more ads in there. Like, they want to change it. I don't know. It's kind of weird. But
they want to monetize it.
They want to monetize. I also understand that this thing isn't free, even though we think it's ours, right?
Well,
it is ours.
Let's go off that for a second.
It's so built on community, though. Like you're saying, right? All the moderators run it for free. Yeah. And just do all this hard work on it.
And all the people submit the content. All the people submit content. It's not like Reddit curates the content.
No, right? And it's so out there. The other thing, does anyone here actually use, like, in Reddit browser, do you use the new Reddit or do you use old Reddit still?
I only use
old Reddit.
I use old.
So if you go to old.reddit.com, it's the original UI. It's not the new shitty UI. They're going to, and I know it, and that's like...
Yeah. I really only use Apollo. So I'm a heavy Apollo user since the start. And
it's so nice.
I think it's also just a bit of like change. Like for me, I've set up a lot of like filters and customizations and little like groupings of subreddits. That's not going to carry over to anything that comes next to it. Like I have one that's like I have like as like a threat feed for jobs. I have different subreddits. I just click on that grouping. I'm not subscribed. It shows me what I need to know. I'm going to have to rebuild a bunch of stuff. So yeah, looking at alternatives, I go, look, if I'm going to have to put in the work anyways, I never go to the website in order to use it. I go third-party apps. If I have to rebuild everything, I might as well just look into the competitors.
I mean, it honestly sounds to me like they're doing a burn everything down. And I read in one of the articles he was talking about things like OpenAI's ChatGPT and other LLMs web scraping it and even hitting more API calls than some of these third-party apps and stuff, and they want to cut that out. How much of that do you think is honestly true, and how much of that is going to figure in, not just for Reddit in the future, but for all the communities in the future?
It's all
I think it's a great example of why it's been handled bad and why people are upset, because it's totally fair to say we're going to ban web scraping. We're going to increase fees for the API, and like there are API limits or lower API limits. Like no one is saying you can't touch the API in any way. But the fact is, they basically said, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to find the people who aren't screwing us over, who are beneficial to the community. Then we're going to screw them over. That's basically what they did, is they're going after the people who are beneficial to the Reddit community, integral in many cases to the Reddit community. And the lens that people see the information through is often more important than the information itself. Because all the people running all these communities can all go somewhere else. The lens is the only thing Reddit actually matters for. And if they screw up that part, then you could argue that it's just like Google search versus ChatGPT. Google search is the lens through which a lot of people are starting to see the internet. However, ChatGPT is now becoming a replacement for that, and that's why Google's stock price is because that's the replacement. So Reddit can be replaced is basically what I'm saying. I did read a Hacker News thread earlier because that's where I went now is Hacker News because I guess that's where I go. People were like, okay, what Reddit alternatives are there? Someone said Twitter. I was like, hard pass.
Not an alternative.
Not
Other
even.
No.
And then other people were saying, oh, like, of course, it's Hacker News. So people are like, I run a personal web scraper that goes and finds RSS links and, like, they were
Well,
looking
come
like
on.
open source.
They
Scraping,
unfurl their
there's no way to
brain
stop scraping. There's no way to stop scraping because the way that browsers work is they have to deliver the content to your browser and is cached locally. And anyone can install Selenium IDE in their browser and scrape it all that way. So, I mean, yeah, the APIs are more convenient, they're more rapid, they're speedier. Great, wonderful, but still, it can be scraped.
Yes. And every company has scraping protections or bot detections. Like, this is what Cloudflare's entire business model is basically like internet scale scraping and bot prevention. This is something every company has to deal with. LinkedIn has been in court for this like 5 times. Microsoft does it. Like, a lot of people have to deal with this. It's not like it's, okay, how do we deal with this? Let's take off our API. Like that. It's a silly response. It's throwing out the baby with the bathwater. It's just a bad move.
One of the things that drives me, and the reason I immediately just called BS is and you kind of touched on it, is if the problem is big, large language learning models and companies trying to use that data to teach things, you're telling me you can't tell which of those companies are abusing your API and go directly to them and say, you got to pay more?
Oh no, they want to control the lens. They want to sell the ads, and this is their process.
We haven't. We haven't
saying
talked about
stupid.
how Tencent owns a large amount of Reddit. Just
Yeah.
more China.
Interesting.
Yeah, well, if this is China, then they're doing a horrible job. China. I feel like if it was really China, they would do a lot better job of monetizing it, right? Like, I don't think it's China that's doing it. I think China would do what Ian's saying and be like, we're going to go find the people who can give us the most money. I mean, it's the politician move. Your job is to fundraise. You can try to tweet at your entire constituency, or you just find the 100 richest people and have them to dinner and say, what do you want me to build for you? And I'll get your,
Yeah.
So, it's the same thing. I think it's just, it's just a bad move. I think also just the optics of it. I guess here's my question though, before we move on. Is it going to go somewhere else? Is Reddit dead?
I'm already hearing of Fediverse versions of Reddit starting to pop
and
up.
that's
So
what Lemmy is, or whatever.
Lemmy is, I put that link in there. There's a bunch of other ones that are kind of like, whether they catch on, who knows?
Yeah.
But
For Reddit content, one of the things that I came across as a call out that's unique to Reddit is it's one of the few Apple App Store apps that allow adult content through it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's going to be a unique corner to the market because you can't download an app for, I'm not going to say all the site names, but there are a number of adult websites out there that you don't have an app for in order to access their site, but Reddit somehow gets that through. So if they get rid of all these third-party apps and drive everybody that wants to see adult entertainment off their iPhone, drives them to that tool where you can get the curated content and everything, that's golden, and they're going to be able to leverage a lot of ad space for that too, instead of everybody going, hey, I'm going to access that through these third-party apps. Well, you're not seeing ads.
Well, I mean,
part of the problem is right now is that the ad models are starting to fail. If you take a look, and there was an article, and I don't have it handy, but I was reading it earlier today on CNBC about the whole Reddit thing and how the ad model is not just failing for Reddit, but for Twitter, for Facebook / Meta, for Google. Ad revenues across the board are down everywhere. So
yeah, I mean, I think it's a really interesting thing because, like a lot of people have mentioned, Reddit doesn't really generate its own content. It's kind of like, and even like it's kind of, I mean, Twitter's a good analogy for it. Like they have seen massive drops in ad revenue, partially because of the insanity of Elon Musk and the insane changes he's made, but also partially, and I genuinely think this is a big driver. The public opinion is anti-Twitter. especially in certain areas. Like Twitter has kind of pissed off everyone. They've pissed off conservatives. They've pissed off, progressives. They've pissed off just generic people. And so that means ad buys are going to go down. And the same thing is going to happen to Reddit. Whether or not it's the right decision or wrong decision, people are upset about it. And that means that ad revenue is going to go down. So I really do think if I was CEO, first of all, you got to get the community on board one way or another, which just involves admitting that you're wrong, which is really hard when you're a millionaire to admit you're wrong.
It's so hard. So hard.
And also you get the community on board and then you monetize it like using a different model, like a subscription model. I would pay, I don't know, $50 a year to be able to use Apollo and use Reddit. Like, you know what I mean? Like I would pay a certain subscription fee to get access to Reddit in using my lens with my filters and my, things that I don't want to see. I think everyone would, or most power users or even just general users, understand that you can't, like Mike said, the ad model is breaking. And so, this is the world we live in now, is subscriptions or some other monetization model. So
I do want to touch on what you said about Elon, just Elon's insanity, right? There's a couple. Well, first I want to pull up some of these comments, right? Because one, our very own Ryan put here, everyone back to Tumblr. And we, we mentioned adult content. Here's the thing. Tumblr absolutely did that whole thing where they got rid of adult content. And that's why everyone left Tumblr. Let's be perfectly honest.
Oh, yeah.
That adult content brought people there that they then stuck around for the other things. You get rid of that, and that's gone. Reddit's doing that with their API right now. They're saying no adult content through the API when these changes go into effect. Or if they're not already.
And it's interesting, it's interesting with their adult content because there's been mixed, supposedly they added something recently that enabled adult content on the desktop app, but then no, they haven't said we're going to support adult content or we're not. It's just they're just leaving it as they implemented this recent feature and people are taking that to say oh, Reddit loves adult content, but it seems like the jury's kind of out on that. I feel like if they had to go one way or the other, they would probably say eliminate it. Because that's just the easier way to go.
The answer's simple. John's not around to say it. We just go back to IRC.
Oh, I was going to say
well, so hold on.
So news groups.
So this is an actual thing that I kind of tried to do, and one of the people on Hacker News was go get involved with communities that are more personal focused, like Discord, where you actually have human beings, but I joined some Discords that were affiliated with subreddits that I liked, and it was just not the same. I think the community voting and algorithm thing, especially with comments, I realized the reason I go to Reddit is because the comments are the only place on the internet that I laugh at and I like.
Number one is always a good comment.
They're either funny or they're poignant, and that's the only reason I go to Reddit. It's because of the comments. So if you get rid of that, I'm out.
And the ability to upvote and downvote replies is really a cool feature.
Yes.
And I'm not seeing that in any of the alternatives. I don't see it. I've never seen it on Discord. I'm not seeing it on Mastodon. Mastodon is still. I
can't with Mastodon.
Yeah, is it popular? I mean, is anyone using it only and not still using Twitter? I feel like everyone's split.
I just got rid of Twitter.
But I'm not using the Mastodon stock interface. I'm using a third-party interface for that one.
Yeah,
I'm using a third-party interface, and I like that you can set any tags to an RSS. So I use those for anybody that tags threat intel. That's just going to drop right into my mailbox RSS feed.
That's pretty cool. I'll have to ask you how to do that later.
I want to bring this up to the Tim J. Said China's position: you don't monetize requirements on Intel operations.
Exactly.
Well, okay. In fairness, an Intel operation monetizes in a different way.
Right.
That's all.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. If it was all about monetization, it would be TikTok style. Right. It would be you can use whatever API you want. Put all your content here for free.
Now,
right?
with them forcing you to download their app, right? And then that app starts harvesting data just like TikTok.
Okay. Maybe. Yeah, that could be.
Their app sucks so bad that no one uses it. And if I wanted that app to really get on that stuff, I'm just going to ban all the other apps and say, hey, only use our app. So that was my thought. And then once that app's on there you go. You got everything that Google does to me.
I like it.
But
That's a
Reddit.
nice cynical way of looking at it. I love it.
Oh, you want
Alright,
a more
let's-
cynical way to look at something? Because I do want to cover. We keep going back to Elon, and I had a long conversation with my old friends about this. This thing with Reddit is absolutely Elon's fault, and you want to know why?
Oh,
I'm so glad you responded that way. Yes, it is absolutely Elon's fault. He went through and gutted like all these engineers and then went through and made all these API changes. And for better or worse, even though people are running off in droves, what boards of directors and investors are seeing across the country is Twitter didn't collapse. Now, in the last couple weeks, the valuation of Twitter has dropped to like a third of what he paid for it. But the way boardrooms and investors work is it's a wave, it's a buildup, it's momentum. So they came back and they said, "Look, he did all this. Why aren't you doing this?" And so they went to apply all these changes. And now I'm willing to bet that it is June 12th. Board meetings for the quarter are starting to kick off, and as those boards of directors and all those investment folks and institutional money start saying, "Oh, wait a minute, yeah, Twitter didn't fall down, but it lost 2/3 of its value, so maybe we don't like kick people like that." But those things take time to not only move forward but to roll back. And my prediction is, as more board meetings with investors happen, this will get rolled back, not because of community outreach, because they don't want to see the value of their investment fall by 2/3. That's my take.
Interesting.
I don't know.
take.
I think because of the blackouts, if they were to do it, I think 48 hours is not enough.
Yeah.
But I think
Well, a
they've
lot
got
of
the right
shifted,
idea
you
with
said indefinite.
with over 7,000, with the majority of the subreddits going black, is what it sounds like. How's that going to hit their evaluation for an IPO? That basically kills it. They've got no monetization or very little monetization, even off of ads whatsoever in
This
that
kills
case.
the
It doesn't take much though for them to claw back, turn them back on, right? Like r/video posted about it. Like, will Reddit pretty much unseat all the moderators and just turn r/video back on? Most likely. Like, if it continues for that long, they're not going to let the moderators hold their site hostage. They're going to have to do
you do
something
realize
where they have other moderators.
if that happens, then that just means the site-wide quality drops a significant amount, because we know that Reddit is not going to pay moderation for 7,000 subreddits, which means it's going to come down to the community, which means it's going to come down to the community of people who are willing to do it even though they shouldn't be doing it, which means they're not going to be very good at it or have low standards. And then you get into the scenario where, guess what moderation does? It keeps all the stuff that ad buyers don't want off the site. That's what moderation does. It keeps the gnarly, videos of people getting beheaded with the chainsaw under your Pepsi ad from existing. So it's
Russian
like
guy getting eaten by a shark.
right. So it's like, yeah, exactly. So I feel like if that happens, it will be funny. It's like a Twitter thing where it's just going to be like, yes, for a brief moment, the Titanic was higher above the water than it ever was before. So.
I would think they would take over their cash cow subreddits, right? And then just leave the other ones to die. But I do agree with you that quality would drop immediately. But all the big ones, you just hook up ChatGPT in there and tell them if you see this word,
dude,
delete.
No. Because here's the thing: you don't piss off the internet. This is like the rule one of the internet. The number of people, it's just not a good idea.
You only know the rules that are further down.
Either way, if you don't have moderation, then you end up with America's most secure companies of 2023.
Oh yeah, let's talk about
that.
Dude,
Nice.
I hate this so much.
Wait.
This is
We
just
have
a
an-
big ad.
Hold on.
This is just
We
a
have
big
an
ad for
announcement.
scorecards.
No.
Gosh.
No. We have an announcement to make. Okay. BHIS works with the most secure companies in the world, and we can prove it.
We can prove it because it's on the Forbes.
According to a Forbes article that just published a random list of 200 companies that are all the most secure.
Did they just pull a list of companies out of the bag?
From scorecard. Watch, it's down. It's one of the scorecard.
Well,
websites.
it's multiple things.
Literally.
Okay, so
Scroll up.
there's a few criteria. First of all, here's the number one criteria: no breaches since January 1, 2022, which we know as the start date of the internet.
Yeah, I thought that was actually the Unix epoch date.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. That's actually the first date anyone ever remembers is January 1st, 2022.
Yeah.
So no breaches since then, and some random nonsense. They call it security alchemy at Security Scorecard, where they take some
Alchemy.
lead, they take some bread and some donuts, and they combine them together to make a scorecard that tells you how secure you are.
It's very
The
sweet.
security scorecard, who I went ahead and messed around with a website of mine. It said, do this, this, and this, and your score will increase. And I did that, and that, and watched my score drop 50 points off of their own recommendations.
Yeah,
It's like a credit score for security.
I have no, it's not a credit score. It's a racket. It is
So okay, no,
It's
well,
Yelp.
wait.
It's Yelp.
Okay,
Get rid of your bad reviews and we'll pay you. And
so
you
here
pay
are
us.
the
It's
best.
just-
Here's the two best hot takes. Number one, Ian and a lot of other people have said sounds like a target list.
It is.
So that's the number
Could be.
one funny hot take. And the private email that I will not share in full, but I will say one of our
What?
clients was on it. I told them about this Friday, and on today I woke up to an email that said we're trying to work with our legal team to see if we can get taken off the list. Which I just love so much because it's like, hey, congratulations, pay us money for this plaque, and it's like, no, we're going to sue you instead.
Oh, yeah,
Somebody
no,
there has a brain. They know that if they're on the list, they're a visible target.
So,
Highly
okay,
visible target.
That's the number one hot take is like, this is the target list. The second hot take is that this is, or I'll let Ian go ahead. I don't want to take.
Oh wait, which hot take are we going with? Because I could rant about this for days.
Give me you give me a hot take, and I'll give my second hot take after your.
Oh, my second hot take is any of this stuff is completely like the mafia, and now it's gone even further. In that if you actually go look at those stories, one, I love the fact that they use alchemy because they're like, we use
It just
mumbo
matters.
jumbo, and none of it matters. I've dealt with the big companies like Security Scorecard and those, and I for legal reasons I won't completely call them imbeciles, but. With that being said, it is a terrible model. It is an absolutely terrible model. It does not work at all like credit reporting. It works like a mafia racket. They show up, they say, oh yeah, you should buy our service. You got a real nice perimeter here. It'd be a real shame if someone talked about all these windows that got broken, So you might want to get our service so you can go through and find out about your broken windows. You pay us that money, and then other people don't know about your broken windows. I don't want to pay for that service. Then your windows are going to stay broken permanently. I think you know what I mean by that. Right?
Well, okay. So you mentioned credit scores. Credit scores are just a way to keep generational poverty a thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, so my second hot take.
On with you.
My second hot take is that this is not the most cybersecure companies. It's just the companies with the best legal teams that are good at covering things up.
I don't know
Or
why.
the most
KK
oblivious
I
is
would agree on
companies.
that.
Or the most oblivious companies. Just
So,
because
wait.
you don't know you've been hacked doesn't mean you haven't been hacked.
Did Uber make the list? Did Uber make the list? Because they have the most aggressive tactics to
didn't.
go after people.
Okay, well did
They
we
do
ever
not.
talk about that on the show?
I think we did. Yeah.
Did we?
Oh, the
What?
Uber stuff?
No.
With the guy
Yeah.
went
No,
to-
did we talk about the Uber sentencing and how they went
Yeah.
to the guy's house and made him sign an NDA and all that
Yes.
stuff?
Yeah, and then
We
I
talked
don't-
about that?
they went
I don't
straight
remember
mafia.
talking
Yeah,
about
they went
that
straight
part.
mafia.
I
on
don't
him
think we
because-
talked about that.
I don't think we talked about it.
We talked about the initial compromise, but we'll save that story for another time. If you're interested in what we're talking about go read the person was convicted, and a lot of stuff came out in court when they were convicted, including that Twitter basically had investigators go find who the person was, dox them, go to their house, and make them sign an NDA that said they would never talk about how they hacked Uber.
Oh, that's
But-
right. Yeah.
But anyway, we never talked about it on the show. But
Yeah.
if you're interested, just go read the article it's like the full court, case of that person who was convicted. But
No, the other thing I want to say about this, because I was so hot about it on Friday. I mean, because we have a private chat going, and I'm like, this is the dumbest thing ever. In reading through the criteria, so if you go to the news article, one of the things like Corey had mentioned was they have to have no breaches since the beginning of the internet, obviously.
Yeah.
They have to be over $1 billion company, because we all know that
Small
the
fry.
only thing that can be secure is over $1 billion company or breached. If you're
it
under
is Forbes. It is Forbes.
right.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh, this is fantastic. I'm announcing this right now for all of you, by the way. I was added to the 2023 list of most invulnerable to bullets because I live in a state with billions of bullets, and in the last few years have not been
I haven't
shot.
been shot. You're doing amazing.
Yeah,
You're doing
the-
How
amazing.
many? Do you have over 1 billion bullets
Oh, it's
I mean, in
my
the
house.
state,
There's gotta be.
yeah. I mean, well, yeah, it's
at my
Florida.
house?
Yeah, it's Florida.
This would be a
Everyone in
good,
Florida has at least 4 firearms just in case one breaks.
That's
right. Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, I think it's stupid. I mean, it's funny. Obviously, it's just a money grab. But I will say, some of the clients that I saw in there, I was like, yeah, they were tough cookies for sure. Like they're. I will say, like, to give it. Not-
kudos.
There were also a couple companies on there that we got DA in like 4 days. But there were some on there that I would genuinely consider in my list of top secure companies I've ever worked with. So it's kind of runs the gamut, I would say. But overall, I mean, it's funny. Honestly, I think it's more of a snub to any of the big tech companies because none of them are on there. It's all like companies that make cookies and have like 3 computers. Like
Burlington Coat Factory,
Yes.
out,
The coats- the coats-
CrowdStrike. That was the one we kept talking about.
So,
yeah,
They're
it's pretty
great
funny.
coats, man. They're great cybersecurity.
do you guys?
YKK didn't make the list though.
That's right. That's right. They didn't because they couldn't, keep it closed.
I bet you they did make the list because they're owned by some conglomerate that's on the list and that you just don't know about.
Oh yeah. So
that's
what happened?
What happened to YKK? What happened?
Yeah.
What happened to YKK?
So, bring it
Ransom?
up. Pretty much just ransomware.
Just a normal.
Right.
A Monday.
The normal stuff, right?
We
I
went
don't
like
think
3
they've
weeks without talking about ransomware, and now
And
you
you
ruined
brought
it.
it up.
But look, they got $6
Reset
billion in
the
revenue,
clock.
right?
Right. Let's reset the clock.
44,000 employees, right? I just thought the zipper jokes would be awesome if we talked about this.
world's
but-
largest zipper.
Was it okay? Was it a .zip domain?
Yeah.
Zip domain.
If they don't own YKK.zip, who does?
Who
They should
does?
buy that right now,
And, yeah.
Oh man, that's a good one.
right?
I guess YKK got caught with their pants down.
Oh, they should have used a button.
Yeah.
They own buttons too.
No
It does
button
say
fly.
so.
Ah,
they
crap.
own a bunch of attachment and closing devices. I read it because it's like, how is a zipper company worth $6 billion? And then I dive down the rabbit hole.
I mean,
and
I will
they're
say,
worth it.
if you buy something and it doesn't come with a YKK zipper, you know it's like Amazon Basics levels of cheap.
All right. I'm buying ykk.zip.com. Here we go.
Are you really?
.zip.com. Dude, .zip.com is probably the actual ransomware C2. So, okay, the real question is, are
but what
they...
about .com.zip?
Oh, you got to keep it
Okay,
going.
so hold on. Let's decompress here. Let's decompress.
Get out. Get out. I caught that joke. Get out.
So they got ransomware. Yeah. It happens. It happens to everyone, it seems like.
I'm just wondering what like the adversary's angle is on this, because you see from the article, like YKK says it's like there wasn't any sign of compromise. They don't have anything, but it's one that the adversaries are putting it like front and center, going like, we have YKK, and there's certainly other juicy targets that got compromised. Like, why are they driving so hard at YKK for?
Yes. And also, can we talk about, like, can someone come up with what data would even be useful from YKK? Like, oh, here's the list of pants that have YKK zippers. No
You
one
didn't
cares.
know this, but
Okay,
but
wait,
YKK
wait.
is subcontracted for the top secret military base zippers.
Okay,
that
cool.
make
So an
no
F-22
noise when
has
they
a-
go up and
No
Okay,
noise
again, an
zippers.
No
an
noise
F-22
zippers.
has a zipper. An
Stealth
F-22 has a
zippers.
zipper.
Okay. Now,
Stealth
hold on a second.
zipper.
It's about the numbers. How many pieces of clothing do you have that have zippers on them?
Yeah.
It's
but
not
Five?
it's,
I don't have an immediate inventory.
I got all of my
list-
clothing that has zippers. I got rid of them. I hate
I
them.
can list 3 jackets behind me that have
You
zippers.
would.
He's
Ralph.
dropping YKK as a vendor. Let me check.
Clearly a security threat. Wait, cyber- I
No,
just-
this is not YKK on these shorts, so they're basically garbage.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I mean,
Nice.
I can't really think, like, the stealth zipper thing is pretty funny, like intellectual property. It's like, this zipper doesn't make any sound. It's like, they're like, I was thinking IoT SCADA, right? You bring the
Yeah.
operations to a halt, you get a big Bitcoin payout. That's how it works. But if you don't bring the operations to a halt, you aren't getting anything. So
That's right.
That was the only thing I could think of, to tell you the truth.
yeah,
But-
no one cares how many zippers Levi's ordered in 2021. Like, it just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
YKK.store is
What do you
available.
Now, if they figure out a zipper API,
The zipper API.
The zipper.
Yeah, but then they'd have to charge billions of dollars for it per year.
Yeah, you got to monetize your APIs, or else you're not a really profitable company.
And if Zipper was an open API, then we'd really have an exposure problem.
Then you have an open
oh,
All right.
Wow. The jokes continue. Let's
Okay.
move it to the
This
next
story.
one.
No,
good,
we need to
Jackie. It was
move
good.
on.
It was
Okay.
oh man.
Okay. Do you want to cover Kia as our last one, or do you want to do follow up for MOVEit?
Well, we got time to do both, man.
Okay, let's do both.
Yeah.
So okay,
What do you want
Kia.
first?
This isn't really
Kia?
cybersecurity; it's physical security, which is just
So
fun.
are we still on the Kia Boy challenge? Because
Yeah, that's pretty much it. They're blaming TikTok for Kia Boy. pretty
Oh,
much.
so Kia's not
That's
to
what
be
it is.
blamed for this. It is actually TikTok who caused Kia to be attacked.
Well, Ralph,
so
I don't know if-
innocently.
Have you heard of security through obscurity? That was Kia's whole model.
Yes.
Oh, was that the 2022 obscurity, or is that the?
Yeah.
I
no,
believe
no.
it's model years 2013 through. It's like a
Yeah,
lot. Of years.
2019. It's like all of them. I think it's
Okay, 2019. Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, it's only certain models, and it's basically a specific thing, a physical design issue with the key, like shackle or
saying-
whatever you want to
Yeah,
call
I've
it.
got one of the keys right here.
I know. They're saying in most cities, over 67% of the cars stolen are Kias.
All the hamsters. No, that's not a screwdriver. All the hamsters. All the hamsters driving Kias are gonna have a class action lawsuit.
Oh,
I would like to know. I'd like to know the statistics for San Diego for these, because most of the time, the moment a car's stolen, it's driven across the border and you never hear about it again.
Yeah.
So imagine if there was just like a mass key, like you're working at the border and all of a sudden it's just Kia on Kia on Kia, and you're like, man, this is really weird. Why are all these Kias going across the border?
So
and then
is-
it hits. The
And then-
Kia boys
yeah.
are at it
Yeah,
again.
yeah. So
Well,
in Mexico,
Some
then they
damn
just don't
Duplos.
have keys anymore. 'Cause then
Yeah,
No,
right.
they have keys. They're just USB sticks.
they're just
Yeah,
key.
I mean-
yeah. And you know what's funny? When I originally heard this story, and I was like, "Oh, USB," I'm like, "Oh, what kind of malware are they putting on there? What kind of like bypass?"
Oh
whatever."
yeah, it's
No,
really
just
good.
A square
No,
hole
it's-
is about the size of a
Yeah.
USB.
It's
and
just a physical, accessible thing that's around in every car.
If you turn your right blocker on, it blocks it, and you're fine though. You're
oh
good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I saw an article because this came up, like the Kias in Canada aren't affected by this. Like it's one of the things that Kia and
they
Hyundai
right.
They had an immobilizer.
They-
on
they
there.
had an
require the
They
immobilizer.
required it, and so they said, oh, so yeah, if you're up like our northern neighbor, then yeah, you're not impacted by
Oh,
this.
gotta
So
go over
okay, so if you
all.
live in Canada or Mexico, first of all, if you live in Mexico, thanks for probably building the Kias, which I assume that's where they're built.
That's why they went and
And
got
if
him
you live
back.
If you live in Canada, sorry that you couldn't get the poverty spec immobilizer
Poverty
free Kia.
I think what you meant to say was sorry.
Sorry.
We're sorry about that.
I will say the numbers are pretty crazy. So, like as an example, in Milwaukee, in 2019, 6% of stolen vehicles were Kias and Hyundais. In 2021, it was 67%.
Wow.
I'm in
You think if
I'm in
you're
the
a-
Milwaukee area, and yeah, I know plenty of people that have had their Kias stolen in exactly this manner. Coworkers and stuff that say, "Hey, I can't come into work. My Kia was stolen." And then know where some of the videos where you see people wreck on a stolen Kia. I know where that takes place. So it was one of the things where it's like, yeah, I have to wife had to divert around the accident or the area where that
Right.
happened.
Wow.
I
So,
think this
okay,
is just
so-
Big Keys, right? Big Keys is behind all this,
So,
trying to make
okay.
sure
Oh,
you
I thought
properly
it-
key your cars.
No. It's big immobilizer. But
Big
anyway,
immobilizer. Oh, yeah.
yeah. So push button start, yeah, maybe a good option. But I guess I would say okay, so obviously Kia is responsible because they built insecure vehicles. However, there is an element of truth to the squeaky wheel gets the oil, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I genuinely want to know how you guys feel about this, and think about it from a cybersecurity perspective. Let's say, I make an insecure API and then it trends on Twitter. Like, I know it's my fault for making an insecure API, but am I allowed to just be like, ugh? Like, how much are they at fault and how much is TikTok at fault, if at all? Is it okay to
Based
just
on
have how to
liability and
steal a car?
class action lawsuits, right? If it's going to cost more to fix versus
Doesn't this fall into what we've come up with responsible disclosure on on everything? Isn't it the same sort of modeling that we should be doing in that?
So I guess let's imagine that there's a zero
Wouldn't it be nice?
for an FTP server.
Oh, I was going to say an email appliance, but okay. Yeah.
Oh,
Well, that's what I was going to say. Yeah, for an email appliance.
Where you have to throw it away if you still have it. It's that
Or a
bad.
smart refrigerator.
I mean, I guess that the thing that's tricky about the cars is they're much slower to fix,
yep.
and they are much
No
more expensive.
over-the-air updates.
No over-the-air update. Well, you can't over-the-air update a lock system.
You should.
So
That attitude.
Not with that attitude.
okay. Well, there's another malware. Metaphor we can use here, which is there are friendly malwares that go in and exploit things and then patch the malware as they exploit.
You just going around
So,
and Kia's putting mobilizers in?
break
How much would that
Kias,
cost? That's,
Breaking into cars, securing them.
break into a Kia and fix.
That's the new
install
challenge.
an
I'm going to make the
immobilizer.
TikTok challenge where I break in and add an immobilizer to all the Kias.
Here's the problem: cool motive, still illegal.
could you imagine getting caught by the cops? But
Yes,
what are you doing?
I know. With all these
putting them-
immobilizers in my pocket.
I'm securing this car. I'm making it.
I have all the
safer.
receipts for the immobilizers. I didn't steal them. I'm putting them in. You know,
I'm putting them in. Like, wow, this is weird.
Yeah,
Yeah,
to go back to your
uh,
question, Corey, I don't think TikTok is responsible at all.
No.
I mean, there's all kinds of protections in place that have been fought for by all the major social media companies to say we are not responsible for the content that's put on there. If someone puts content on there that is illegal or something like that, you tell us, we'll remove it, and that's just the way the game is played. Now, the other thing that you mentioned though about like who's responsible on APIs and things to that nature, right? I mean, Kia's in the end absolutely responsible. They're going to have a recall. They're going to have to do all that stuff. But one of the things, like, I didn't see if it was mentioned in this article, but it's mentioned in others, is the state of New York is suing because the amount of additional effort. I mean, just in what you said, going from like 5 or 6% to 67%, they're suing because they're like, we've got cops on this. We've got our divisions that handle just Grand Theft Auto on it, and you're overwhelming us because you made a really bad decision.
They're suing Hyundai Kia, not TikTok.
Yeah, they're suing Hyundai Kia. So that should tell you what prosecutors think about who's actually at fault.
Gotcha.
You know, they're not going
Yeah,
after
that's a great
going
point.
after-
Who are
And
they
I-
suing? They're not suing TikTok. They're suing Hyundai Kia.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think there may even be like a similar history with this, with the kryptonite bike locks, that you could pick them with a big pen.
Yeah,
And Kryptonite realized that, and they go, "Hey, that's a problem." So they made some modifications to the bike lock to say it's like, okay, we're going to mitigate that. And I think there was kind of a history, and I think also they ended up going, well, those countermeasures are too expensive, so we're going to take those out. And then people started having their bikes stolen again. So there's probably some parallels that can be taken there between the Kryptonite locks. And nobody would, if there was a rash of YouTube videos or social media videos of people, picking bike locks using nothing but a big pen, is anybody going to go after those, or are people going to look at Kryptonite or whatever bike lock manufacturers for saying, hey, you made some crummy locks?
And
So what
that's
you're
where the
saying
name pen
is-
testing came from.
What you're saying is we need to make some fun TikTok videos about why you should secure ADCS and just put it in rap songs and people will fix it.
What?
Yeah.
Is that how it works? If I
Make
can
'em-
twerk while singing it, it's going to get fixed and I'm going to get sued.
Can we?
Well, we could email those things, but there might be some problems with the gateways.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
dude, this one is so good.
There was a patch.
There's no patch.
There isn't a patch.
There's
It's
no
firmware.
patch. It is wide
Wait, what are you
open.
talking? What are these emails? I don't see this
Barracuda.
article.
Barracuda.
CVE,
Wait, there's a song for
can't
this.
patch
Dum,
me.
ba-da-bum, 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 ba-da-bum. Sorry.
Where is it? It was in there. I read it.
I don't
Control
see
F
it. This
Barracuda.
is Barracuda.
Yeah.
So
it's
wait,
in there.
Barracuda still makes stuff? I thought that was like 10 years ago.
No, but there's also another one too, because what is it? Fortinet, also their VPNs are vulnerable as well. That was a huge RCE.
maybe
Just like
It's the story
Wait, one
back to
RCE at a time. One RCE
All
at a
right,
time.
one
Let's
RCE
cover,
at a time.
Let's cover
All
the
right.
Florida fish.
Oh no,
first.
that's not it. That's not it. Oh wait, is that the link I sent? Isn't it?
Yeah.
That may be.
Pretty
much-
in there. It had the giant red.
Pretty
giant
much
head-
this
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 is Barracuda.
this vulnerability has been
Command
being
eject.
used since 2022.
Oh, good.
Right, so it's being used by threat actors out there. They just now caught it this year, like earlier. They issued a
May.
patch.
They were using.
I don't know if this is the right one, but
No, stay on that article for a second, because there's the problem. The Barracuda team have those bug keyboards.
I know.
Yeah, so that's the thing. If you push that key, it puts a bug in the code,
Boom.
right?
they
Right
but
next to J. I mean,
after they issued the patch and said everything's all good, then they realized, oh no, this is a firmware thing. You just need to throw this away.
Yeah.
Buy a new one.
Buy a new one.
Wow.
I don't know. I
Is
haven't
this
heard
what?
that happen in a while.
Yeah.
that better
And
be
who-
like out of support appliances, because I gotta tell you, as you know, in my previous life, if my vendor came back to me and was like, "Yeah, totes sorry about that. We got to sell you another $100,000 of this to fix it," I'd be like, "Oh no, you have to give me $100,000."
I will
makes it cost
say,
numbers?
just anecdotally, I haven't seen anything Barracuda in years. I feel like they're going the way of the dodo. I
They're
don't know.
going undersea.
I know they're probably still heavily used, but the concept of buying a box you put in your network and the email goes in this port and out this port is just
It's a
not
blinky
thing that-
box. We need more blinky box. It's the Belson signature edition.
I will. I noticed that for the first time in one of the other casts a while ago, and I really want that in my background now.
You got a full screen Ralph so people know.
Full
it's
screen
each time.
Ralph, so
Oh,
you can see
God.
the Gavin Belson box.
Ralph.
He has the signature box in his
The
network.
signature
It's really hard
Gavin.
to see.
Signature box. It's a little. It's like little hidden.
It's bold. I would say it's bold and brash.
It is a
Yeah.
little bit bolder if you kind of like look
It's
from
the-
afar.
it's pretty-
the lights.
Okay,
and stuff.
okay, but
Yeah.
does it go ping? We need a machine that goes ping.
Oh yeah, good point. Like a little
we go.
bell every time an email's blocked. Now
Yeah.
that I would pay for.
Oh, yeah.
I just want a little. What I want is an aquarium with a Barracuda that runs over and rings the bell.
Oh, that's actually that
There we
Barracuda.
go. There we go.
Sorry, Ian. That Barracuda
Okay,
is
but
actually
training the Barracuda.
no. The Barracuda is actually part of another machine learning project for another security initiative. If it goes to the left side of the tank, block all emails. If it goes to the right side of the tank, block all Teams chat messages.
I'm
Wow.
sorry.
So it-
I'm a large oceanic fish, and I don't have opinions on these subjects. No.
Barracuda
So-
can't go to either side because it's too long. We're like, we need
Did
a bigger
anyone has
tank.
anyone actually read the article and figured out if it was unsupported appliances only, or if these were actually actively supported?
Well, it says
Anyone
that
here
there
wearing
are
chat?
a lot online. That's what I read. There is
Yeah, but that probably means they are unsupported.
11,000 of them swimming in the internet.
Women in the net.
Barracuda says its products are used by over 200,000 organizations.
Cool.
So doesn't say if that particular make or model rather is used by.
I
over
will
200,000.
say, email gateway exploitation as a pen tester would be like a gift from God, because email gateways are a thorn in my side. I just want to fish people, and it makes it all hard and
You know what
annoying.
they called the malware for this? Saltwater.
So wait, is a Barracuda a freshwater fish? No, it's a saltwater.
No,
It's a
straight
saltwater fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
why
then
the
why would
malware's
the
called
exploit be
saltwater.
called saltwater? What? Wouldn't the exploit be like spear fishing? I don't know.
I don't
Doesn't
know,
make
dude. I didn't make up the name. There's
Come
seaside.
on,
The-
dude.
the
Who
cool
named-
image
I'm
was
holding
made
you
by Bing.
responsible.
Hold on. It sounds like an AI model came up with a bunch of these names. Sea Spy, Seaside. What
Bing
else?
image creator.
None of
Oh,
these
they
are
using
good.
the new Microsoft taxonomy? Because I keep wanting to make a joke thing about that. Like,
Yes, this episode is sponsored by BHIS malware naming. You can pay $5 a month, and you can email me and Ian, and we will name your malware for you for free.
Oh yeah.
And
Absolutely.
don't worry about the
24-hour
$5 a month.
delivery time. That's how
There's
much.
it's a freemium model where if you do 1,000 malwares a month, you have to pay, but otherwise it's free.
Right,
So
yeah.
just email me and Ian.
Let me
and,
put
and
you know what,
Corey's
throw- email in the chat real
Just
quick.
email
Yeah.
everyone at Black Hills Information. Security.
Everyone at Black
Everyone at
Hills.
Black Hills.
Distro.
We don't have a
It's
Barracuda
everyone.
appliance, so the email will get through.
It will get through every time.
Mhm, mhm.
50% of the time, it will land.
All right.
Mm.
We go back to MOVEit. I'm glad we talked about Barracuda though.
We have to follow up
Move
on MOVEit.
So
So
POC is
yeah,
out.
basically MOVEit was not used by that many companies, but big flaw. A lot of important companies, including lots of government agencies, use it. and they patched it, and all good. But now there's a POC publicly. That's important. We talked about this last week.
There's a write-up on it.
Yep.
I mean, it was definitely weaponized. But it was a weaponized.
So if you're like us,
yeah.
If you're like us, you spend a lot of time reverse engineering it, and then they published a POC, and then you're like, oh, well, that was nice.
Well, somebody
Why
else.
did you publish it sooner?
Yeah.
It feels like everyone who because there wasn't a lot of people using it, everyone who did have it definitely got popped. That's what I'm getting the word from other people. It's like, oh, if you had it, you got hit for sure, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Like there isn't like, oh, did I get hit? Which is the normal thing, I would say, at least for the defensive part.
It sounds like somebody came out with this exploit, right? And they dev'd it, and then it was like everyone got it the same day and just hit everyone. I don't know. Or maybe it's one actor.
Does this seem like leaked government exploit to anyone else? Because it doesn't affect that many people. The exploit would have been pretty hard to discover based on the POC. Like if you just SQL mapped it, you wouldn't have found it. Like it's not like a trivial exploit. And it got exploited before it was released. So I don't know. It just feels like that to
I
me.
feel you. Where
Because
was
also
it
they don't have a
located,
public
though, right?
trial. They don't have a free trial.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like you have to either pay for this. I don't know. It just seems so specific.
MOVEit's super expensive too, and all of it's US based, right? So
Correct.
then it's going to be a different nation state.
I don't know.
That's
if
what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right.
So
I'll put my
MOVEit
tinfoil
did
hat
not-
on with you.
I didn't think MOVEit knew about this vulnerability. I think they discovered it via someone getting exploited and then being like, hey, let's do this thing. And so then they immediately came out with the CVE. They're like, holy crap. And so they were playing catch up the whole time.
right.
So it could be not leaked government exploit, but actual real government exploit. So
It could be. I don't know that it's so far as government. I think
I would be a
MOVEit
little bit more quiet.
is-
Maybe like one customer, like instead of everyone.
Yeah.
I don't know.
MOVEit is one of those tools, and because for those of you who don't know me from this, I spent 20 years in large corporate IT and security, and MOVEit is one of those tools that you would actually be shocked how many big companies have instances of this in the background gluing together like
Their whole
old legacy
company.
processes. They're like, we don't know how to API, but we know how to SFTP from here to here and apply some rules in the middle, and that's what MOVEit does, right? So I would believe that either a threat actor group, whether it be a government-based sponsored threat actor group, had a specific target that they knew, hey, they use this tool and it's probably ripe for going after. And then it was like, well, wait a minute, let's invest some time in building this because there's a lot of big companies that have this thing buried on the inside. So yeah,
I just feel like it had to leak to get to the level of exploitation it got to, because I feel like a government would never be like, yeah, just who are you going to target? Just everyone? Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Let's put the tinfoil hat back on.
Everyone?
We're going to target everyone so that everyone is targeted, but we're only after one person.
Ooh, I like that.
It all comes back to the copier machine in Trump's basement.
Wow.
It was actually running MOVEit. That was a MOVEit server, actually.
It was actually a MOVEit appliance. No,
All
it was
guys, that was an
protected.
early edition MOVEit server, okay?
It was
Their
protected
their
by a
Barracuda email gateway though was like on the
It
other
was
side, so-
protected. It's fine. It was behind the
That's what it was.
Barracuda email gateway.
That was a DMZ area that
Yes,
they were digitizing with
yes.
the copier to go into MOVEit so that they could then email it through the Barracuda.
But then
Okay,
it had
do we have time for one more, because there's this article in
for it.
here that I
Yeah,
just
we have
saw
1
and
minute.
it's just
we have
triggering
to
me.
end at 5:30.
So
You
okay,
have to
here's I'm just
by
gonna
exact time.
the article starts with the word that I think they might have made up, and the word is sextortionists.
Oh, so what does that mean?
No,
It says here,
Sextortionist has been around for a while.
Sextortion. Oldest profession in the world. But no,
Oh,
I'm
yes.
just kidding. Sextortionists are making AI nudes from your social media profile.
Oh, I did read about this. Yeah.
Oh, get
So
weird.
okay, so if you make nudes of me and you try to extort me with them, I'm just gonna laugh at you.
Oh yeah.
That's because anybody who saw the nudes would be laughing anyways.
Yeah.
Correct. And people pay good money to laugh at those nudes.
I've seen the real ones and I laughed at those too. So
Well, okay. Listen, my subscribers are going up, so the numbers are going up.
your OnlyFans is not as big as you
If-
thought.
Well, posting 0 days on there is getting a lot of traction.
If AI is really bad at making fingers, is it really bad at making other things too?
I don't have to subscribe.
Scary thought.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I guess like to
Looks like I have an octopus down there. What's going on?
Wow. Wow.
I'm sorry because I feel like this article has some legitimate.
It does actually have some legitimacy, and we're just ripping it apart.
Just destroying it. Yeah.
So this is okay. Well, let's bring it. I'm going to bring it back. I'm sorry for all the discussion about Octopi and all that stuff, but it says that this is an FBI warning. So we know that FBI has warned us about juice jacking, aka the #1 most APT threat on the world. Now they're also warning us about sextortion, where they're scraping publicly available images like innocuous pictures, not my OnlyFans, and then those are fed into deepfake content generation that turns into sexually explicit. So basically, yeah, I mean, they're seeing an uptick in these types of attacks. I guess, like, they're doing the classic pay and I won't release these fake nudes thing. For certain
There's got to be
people,
a
though,
subreddit for this.
I so hope somebody does that.
not anymore. It's blacked out. It's blacked out. /r/fake nudes.
I want somebody to send one of those to me, like, and this is not an offer. Just so I can do like I respond to all the people trying to buy my old house in text, and I just send random things back. And if they send one of those, I'm like, oh, if you like that, like and subscribe to my OnlyFans, where you'll get more. And just hit them back with that.
Yeah, and this could be used for basically, blackmail or interfering with any sort of job opportunity. Because if you were going to be hired and have a black background check, and somebody, if you were a female and you had an OnlyFans that had nude photos of you, and you're trying to apply for a job, they may go, hey, you're not a good fit because, we found some dirt on you, and you have to try to refute that that's not you.
Okay, I have a great, this is amazing. This is perfect. This is, now that there is a way to make nudes of everyone, we can all just be on a level playing field.
Exactly.
Because so it's like, if anyone is like, oh, you used to have an OnlyFans, it'd be like, yeah, so did you. Here's your pictures, dude. These are gross. I don't want to see that. So it evens the playing field, because now it's not a sexist thing anymore. You can't be like, well, you had an OnlyFans, so you can't be my receptionist. It's like, well, I can't work for you. You had an OnlyFans. So
no, that's file not found. Hot dog, not hot dog. That's
See where it's going to switch. And they're like, we found out you had an OnlyFans, and people are going to be like, oh man, yeah, and your subscription rate was just ridiculous. Like, you're not even running a proper business model here. I don't know that you're right for us.
Are you even monetizing?
You should be charging way more for what is there.
You haven't got into merch yet. You need to start making shirts. You need to start making
coffee cups.
Business acumen.
Oh, Ian, that's right up there. Ian,
oh no!
You pick it up and you go, "Hey, you're on the air."
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're on the air with K97.8, the Rowdy Boys.
So,
like what?
So yes, I think we talked about a while ago how people were paying a subscription to interact with like a AI girlfriend or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I think this is like, are people going to start monetizing? So we talked about sextortion, but is someone going to monetize AI generated like pictures as like an OnlyFans, where it's like, Joe Biden has an OnlyFans, Putin has an OnlyFans, like, is it going to be, is that where we're going?
Yeah.
I'm dead serious. I mean, not that I'm giving away fetishes of mine, but I thought that stuff was going to happen.
Are you subscribed to Joe Biden and Putin, or just
at the same time? That's really a conflict of interest.
It's it's a war crime, but beyond that.
Yeah, but he's riding a bear nude in the one photo. It's pretty good.
Hey, first off,
that's true.
I was allegedly nude on that bear.
That's true. It was AI. Now anything
anywhere.
Okay, but to draw it all, anything now, you can generate a picture of yourself doing anything with AI, but also this means that like forensic people who can actually figure out whether images are real or not are going to be in really high demand. Because I don't think there's great automated tools that do this. It seems like most of the automated tools just kind of flip a coin, do an if statement, and then say it was probably AI generated based on the writing samples. So
most of the tools are like, our eyes dead center of photo. Yeah, that's AI.
Yeah, I mean, are there? Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this evolves. Tools to tell if it's AI generated or hasn't been tampered with. Is it real? So,
yeah. And if your lewd AI photos show up, we'll talk about it next week on Talking About the News.
This episode was sponsored by AI OnlyFans for John.
AI reputation defender.
Oh no,
You
it's
can
only
defend your
GANs.
reputation.
Only GANs.
No,
Oh,
only
yeah.
LLMs.
Yeah,
Oh.
only GANs.
Only stable diffusion. Okay,
Only
yeah, no.
Shit.
Thanks for
All right,
coming.
Burn it down.
Yeah,
We all love you guys.
yeah. Subscribe. Don't forget to slap like.
Yeah.
Love you all. See you all
Burn
next
down,
week.
like, and
See
subscribe.
ya Wednesday if you're on that stream.
Yes.
See you
come
Thursday
check out
if you're on
Wade.
that
Wade's
stream.
doing a webcast.
Wade.
Yeah, yeah.
Doing a webcast.
And
Everyone
okay,
show
no,
up.
before we roll out, wait, I'm dead serious when I said this internally. I was like, I think we need to cancel Wade's webcast. And everyone's like, why? I'm like, he sent his slides early. I thought he was a professional.
Dude, no, they told me to send the slides early, and I literally finished them 5 minutes before I sent them out, and then like, we need you to change the name. I'm like, oh, all right, and then
Yeah, this guy's too. he's
Wait,
too
I
good
have
for
I have a webcast on Thursday, and I don't even have an outline, dude. You got to get on that level.
Yeah. Corey's talking like a
AV
pro.
John Strand, School. of-
I'm just hoping John doesn't like mute me during the talk. You know, so the webcast is threat intelligence. So we'll see how it goes. I do have some good jokes in there. So
That's
we'll
some
see.
good intel.
But it's also, I tried to relate it to In and Out as much as I could
Nice.
in the entire webcast, and I realized how much I loved that, and that like fueled the slides, and that's the only reason I was able to finish the slides early was because of that.
Promise me at some point there's some relation to threat intel and animal style.
I'm gonna have to go.
Actually,
There's
yeah,
some
the
other
term
stuff, but I definitely could do that. It's not hard.
Animal style is when you use a time series database.
Yes.
Burn it down.
All right.
Burn it down.
Burn it down.
All right.
Burn it down.